Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Surge Cast. I don't even know how we're gonna top having the Canes cast on with us, but hey, it's just me and Zach again. Welcome.
Yeah, if you guys have not heard that episode, I don't know why you haven't listened to that, but yeah, that was the absolute best. Yeah. Kat, how do you top an episode like that with those two? Like
I don't know. It's always great to hear both from both of them. This season it's been great. We've had episodes with each of them, and then we were able to get both on and to have their stories and back and forth and hearing from both sides on different issues and players and where the Canes are. I mean, it was great. So if you haven't checked it
yeah,
out yet, definitely go watch or listen to or both
or both.
to our last episode with Shade and Mike from Canes Cast. And then also, of course, whenever they release another episode, go check out their podcast as well. But yeah, so we're back in your ears for the week before the big break for the Four Nations face-off. For this episode, we're just going to be talking a little bit about the game with Chicago, the LA game, and because of the weird recording schedule, unfortunately, we're not going to have the Winnipeg game featured in this episode, as then we'll preview what's going on with Minnesota and Utah. But
I will say though, if you want a recap of the Winnipeg Jets game, go to our
nope.
TikTok.
Oh yeah, for our TikTok, yeah, you'll get that. I thought you were gonna plug your other podcast. No, go support the unpaid intern. He did do he'll do a recap of the Winnipeg game.
Well, I'm trying to do my job here, and
I was giving you a hard time. I said focus on one podcast at a time, Zach.
That's why you let your line mate go and get the job done first before you start making reactions. Jeez, JT Miller. Go smack your stick against the back of the goal, why don't you? Gosh.
Listen, I never know when you're playing for this team. All right.
I'm the one who created the thing.
I know. That's why I'm making sure it's your main focus.
If I'm on this show, I'm talking about this show. Good grief.
Wow. All right. So, talking about our game with Chicago. All right. So, unfortunately for the games with Chicago and with the Kings, it was a game plagued. We've been hit by the flu. The flu has taken us down. So
not us personally.
Us personally. When we say us, we mean the team. Honestly, though, it's spreading like wildfire. So
yeah,
knock on wood for all of us.
Yeah, even the people in the organizations are getting it. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
hand sanitizers everywhere. So trust.
Wash your hand. Listen, you go to the grocery store, anywhere you go outside. Wash your hands. Bring hand sanitizer with you everywhere.
Everywhere.
But yeah, so we did have the unpaid intern on with us last episode talking about Chicago, and unfortunately, he got what he wanted because Bedard did get a goal. So that's fun. But yeah, honestly,
I bet you really enjoyed hearing from him after the game about that. See,
no, it was during the game, and I started ignoring him because I said, "Nope, it's too close of a score. I'm not going to look at you for a few minutes." And he fully was like, "You don't like me right now. I understand."
I mean, at least he gets it. At least he understands.
He does understand.
You know what you're getting in this relationship. Just no.
I will say I thought it was a great showing from Pyotr Kochetkov in net. With this game, with the flu going around, we were lacking Sebastian Aho and Taylor Hall. But questionable. I think Taylor Hall was a little bit more of a surprise. So we did get a call up in a Mr. Ryan Suzuki, which made his NHL debut. Literally got there 15 minutes before warm-ups.
Yes. Yeah. Talk about rushing a little bit where it's like, okay, it's 2 p.m. Get Raleigh as fast as you can. It's like, okay.
I had someone literally say, like, well, why didn't they call up, like, if they knew they were gonna be down forward, like, could they not have called up another forward? Like, why were they down? I was like, honestly, he just got there with 15 minutes to spare. Also, I don't think they thought they were gonna be down 2. I thought it was
Rod didn't know about Hall until like 4 o'clock. So like no one knew Hall wasn't going to be ready until like 3 hours before game time.
And as a new acquisition to the team, Hall was he still wants to make a really good impression. So he was probably fighting through that until finally he was like, I just can't. Like I'm sorry, I just can't. So you get a little different of a lineup, but with Aho out, you do get instead of a shorthanded Aho and Jarvis goal, you get a Juha Jaska and a Seth Jarvis shorthanded goal. And I heard
Fins and
Juha,
Jarvis.
I heard Juha Jaska get announced twice in that game, and it made me so happy. That's literally my favorite Minter's call. Like his name, fantastic. It's just so fun to say it.
Yeah, because you got like 3 A's, a bunch of umlauts, and yeah, it's
also I think the way he says it, but
yeah, like because Finnish names, man, it's just interesting how they call those. But yeah, it's honestly the way he's been playing. Like, yes, I know he's still trying to get his first goal. Yes, he only has 3 assists, but I mean, honestly, we talked with Mike and Shane. It's one of those things where it's like he's doing his job, and I even asked Rod Brind'Amour about it after the Kings game. Like he's someone that people should be talking about more because of how underrated he is. And Rod's like, yeah, every night he gets better. He's just that good. He just finds a way to get better every game. And Shane even said, we're talking about a guy who's like 26, not someone who's like 22. Like this is an NHL guy. It's just he finally got his break in his first time over here in North America. So you love to see it for him. Something about Fins and Jarvis and in shorthanded situations, it just works out perfectly.
Yeah. So you do get that. Unfortunately, Chicago answered right back. But you get your first Mikko Rantanen Moose goal also in this game. So for being a weird lineup, you're also getting your first goal for number 96 in a Canes uniform, which everyone was so excited to see.
Honestly, though, how about that great pass from the former 96? Between the legs, sucking in 3.
If that was his consistency with passes, I would love it, but it's not. But thankfully, there it was.
It worked. When you have Mikko Rantanen on your team, I think any type of pass will kind of work with that guy. But it's just great. You see 98 to 96, and like I said, Rostovic got 3 guys to draw to him. Mikko had to put it through the legs of Soderblom. There you go. There's the first one. All you hear is all those Moose chants. I'm surprised the Hurricanes. Why aren't you selling Moose heads? You would sell out of those things so quick. What are we doing?
I did see someone wearing some Moose hat or something.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, there's not a lot, but I think the Hurricanes should definitely find that. I mean, we've already done the Zamboni, we've done the beer stick. Let's just start doing some Moose heads. Because come on, what are we doing here?
True.
You knows what sell out fast.
True. We did get a goal from Slavin as well. Honestly, Suzuki almost had his first as well, and it just hit off the crossbar, and Slavin finished it up. It was a pretty nice little 3-1 going into the third, and you're that's where the Canes really needed it. Like that's what you expect from the Canes against Chicago. But then of course you got that Bedard goal. And
give credit, man. That placement, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to get. You got to give credit where credit's due. But hey, you got the win. That's a 7-game point streak. Can't be too upset about that to finish out the month of January, where you go 10-3-2 for 22 points, and that's after 6-6-1 in December and 13. Yeah, it's 2 more games, Kat. But you think about this though, that's a 9-point swing. And you won 10 games in the month of January with that 15-game gauntlet with the Bolts game being added to that run of games. I mean, think about this too. If we just got 1 point against Buffalo, we would have had like a 13-game point streak going into February. Because that's or no more than that, I think. Or I think it would have been 13, somewhere around there, if we just did something against Buffalo. But honestly, what a way to end the month of January. 7-game point streak.
Yeah, and with your new guys starting to get hot as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's even with you're still waiting for Taylor Hall to make his home debut. But I mean, how about KK though? Even including the Kings game, how about 7 points in 7 games?
He heard the trade rumors and he decided to pop off. I mean, he also he's also had a change in his line as well, though. So that's also could be it. A chemistry thing.
Him, Svetch, and Hall. That's a sneaky second line. That is a sneaky line.
Yeah. So I will say overall decent game with Chicago. A little questionable in some of the refereeing. That's not always the case.
Oh, we'll definitely talk about some refereeing.
But talking about refereeing, let's go ahead and talk about the LA Kings game.
Okay,
Did you appreciate our nod to me and the unpaid intern? We did a nod to Letterkenny with that. I don't know if you've seen it yet.
No, I have not seen that.
Okay, you have to check it out.
Okay, I guess we have to go and figure it out and go give it a watch then. Yeah,
pitter patter.
Pitter patter. Good. I will say this though. I know before the game, you could definitely tell that ice was not going to be 100% just because of the fact that you just had the basketball game right before that. And let me tell you, Kat, there was a lot of stains on that ice. Whatever they put on that hardwood seeped right through that and the padding underneath, and it got on the ice. Yeah, and I had a few people in the org say that ice was not going to be the greatest per usual that you're kind of used to in Carolina. So I can already tell, like, okay, this is going to get a very interesting how this game's going to be with how. I mean, it wasn't like we've seen it worse, but it was going to be pretty.
Well, it's honestly like there was a lot of factors against the Canes.
That's one with the Canes. Sure, but I just know that's before the game. That was something.
So there's the ice. There's the
Mm-hmm.
It was warm out. It was warmer outside than it's been. So then you have the ice with the turnover.
Outside,
You still have the flu to the point where people were asking Rod, and Rod was like, "Don't even ask me till game time because I have no idea who's going to be willing."
There was a lot of guys out for
a lot of guys, and when you finally get the lineup and the only one out is Fetch because of an injury instead of illness, you're they're pushing through. That's crazy.
The thing with Rod was he even said this after the game. I know we're kind of fast forwarding a little bit, but I know after the game he said, yeah, that was a weird one because he did practice, but I guess it was more precautionary because I think from what we kind of mentioned through our millions of group chats we have, he did get taken down. I think, was it the Chicago game where he got taken down? Was that Foligno that did that? I know it was someone who took him down.
Yeah, Foligno took him down. He was going for the empty net, and Foligno took him down and was given a penalty, but no goal awarded.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, when we do it, it's a problem, but whatever. Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of the weird one where it's like, yeah, Rod's like, well, he did practice, but gets his precaution just in case. Maybe because the fact you have 2 days, I mean, you have the fact you got Sunday, Monday off before you play Winnipeg on Tuesday. I guess an extra day doesn't hurt, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, you could definitely tell which guys had and which guys didn't because they were.
So you could really tell, but you could also tell just because you could see who was really buzzing. So Robinson was on top of it.
Oh, 100%.
Jarvis seemed decent. Like he seemed like he was still pretty on his game. I would say Rantanen was also fine. But you could just tell it looked like Stahl and Martinook were, I mean, yes, they were still doing, I mean, Stahl had a block shot for goodness sake, but you could just tell that everything was a little extra. And like normally those guys are
even
first.
Aho too. Yeah, even like Sebastian was like trying to get through.
So, I mean, and I said there, I was like, don't judge this game. Like these guys are playing through this illness. They've got you got new line mates. You're trying to get in this groove, but like between the turnover with the ice and the illness, and it's a good team. LA's a good team and they're fast. So it's a lot to ask of someone who probably just wants to be in bed. So I really commend them going out there and playing what they did. Like they put up a good fight. And if you watch the game, the goal that was disallowed, and then the two really good chances, Martinook and Rantanen had some really good opportunities at the net. The Canes were right.
Too. Robinson, like outside the Robinson, Robinson could have had 2 goals himself. Like he had the one, he almost had the second one back door. And I think Shane even said when we had him and Mike on, like if that first line had 4 of those goals that they should have gotten, this game would be completely different. Because like the per national stat trick, like we talked about with them, 25-4 for that first line in terms of out chancing. Like how much more snake bin could you be when you've got 21 more chances with scoring a goal, and you either Kemper stood on his brain and skull or block shots or just what have you, or I
do think Kemper played better than Freddie. Do I think Kemper played absolutely amazing? No,
Freddie had to be sick too. Like I think he was trying.
Yeah, and I think he was pretty. I mean, I honestly thought Kemper was pretty leaky. There were a couple goals where the defenders had to stuff it back underneath him to make sure. So, like, good on the Kings for watching that.
Scored. Yeah, Jarvis almost had that one that kind of went through him, but I think it was
Gavrikov. That was Martinook's as well. And they also had a couple quick whistles when Kemper didn't really have the puck.
Oh,
all right.
I think it was the Ranson shot. Yeah, that one was pretty quick. You could tell Rod on the bench was just like, wait, why are you blowing that day? Yeah, I mean, how about the fact that Yohai Yaska almost gets like Chris Draper with his like face almost going off the end of the bench, and that doesn't get called. Like how do you well then what was it? The Miko Rantanen gets cross checked from Dowdy from behind, and that goes uncalled.
Oh, Svech would have been called for that in a minute. Svech would have been in the box for that immediately. I think it was the fact that there was plays like that, and then we had some very quick whistles on us as well. Like, listen, I'm always gonna say for any team, like I've watched a lot of NHL games, the refereeing is just always pretty dang questionable. This one was bad. Like the fact that guys, like you're already playing a really good team, but you're fighting against some, like you're not getting calls. You're not getting calls, but then you're getting a really quick whistle on one shot, and you're getting a really quick whistle on a hand pass. I swear this season, like hand pass to them is like the new thing to call. Like I've seen so many more calls for hand pass than I've seen in past seasons. And it's crazy. Like
the Brent strip.
Goalie interference is so like, okay, it's up to your discretion, kind of like it's kind of whoever's watching it. But the hand pass is like immediately so black and white, even if it just grazes someone's hand. So I don't know. I'm proud for their fight. I know Freddie probably wanted a couple of those back.
I would say two of them. I definitely that Kevin Fiala one where Orlov got beat, but how about that trip? How about the call on Brent Burns? They call him for tripping, but it's like the dude tripped over the broken stick. Like what's
Burns is already down on a knee holding his stick he didn't move, and the guy anyway.
Yeah,
I could have I could tell Canes fans were fired against those refs last night. And I really hope I don't know how it works. I really hope that whatever the performance review or look at games is, I hope it gets shown that was just bad.
I mean, it's a tough job. I mean, try to be a little bit empathetic for like it's tough to call these. Like I think it's the toughest league to call for. But yeah, when some of them are pretty egregious, where you're missing a lot of cross checks and trips that weren't trips, that's kind of tough for sure.
We do need to come in though with the Canes penalty kill did the job, and I didn't say this last week on the podcast, but we do need to talk about since this was from Kane Stats Brand, and forgive me, it is from January 29th, so a couple days. Since December 1st, the Hurricanes lead the NHL in penalty kill at 90.9%. They've only allowed 6 goals and scored 3 in that time. Sebastian Aho has played 44 minutes and 49 seconds shorthanded and has been on the ice for 2 goals and only 1 against. So I'm going to say the penalty kill is back to the penalty kill. It's the glory. It's beautiful.
It's first in the league.
And you're getting like new guys on it too. The new guys have got right into that system and they're doing everything they can. Yeah. I will say since picking up Rantanen, I have seen a lot more uptick on the power play. I think Ghost coming back from the injury, Rantanen now joining this. I think you're getting a few different looks, and they've had we haven't really been able to cash in on it yet, but I can see it's gaining that momentum and getting back into the flow of things. I am kind of sad. The Kings game, we had all of this momentum down there, and the Kings committed a penalty, which I almost wish we could have declined, because honestly, the Kings had to keep icing it. Before they drew the penalty or took the penalty, they had to keep icing it. And I was like, I now they can ice it all they want. And I was like, I'd rather have said no to the penalty and just been like, now we're going to keep going because all they can do is ice it, because they were knocking on the doorstep. But
this is definitely one of those games where it's like, man, if any of those 4 or 5 chances went in for that first line alone, even the Robinson, I felt so bad for that guy. Man, you could tell he really wanted that one because it was backdoor, easy tap.
He overskated it just a little bit.
It went under a stick, which was unfortunate, just a little too high off the ice. But I mean, you really can't be upset with that type of game because you had a lot of stuff going against you already as it was. If you take away the reffing, which was already questionable to begin with, ice conditions were that great. They had the game right before that. Most of the over half the team is sick.
I would have loved to play the Kings at a full strength. Canes, I think that would have been even more entertaining. Yeah,
them in March. But yes, this one, Yeah, you would love to see to go to the 8-game point streak, but I mean, hey, you know what? But we have to give some props though for all the unfortunate things that happened. How about Eric Robinson tying his career high in doing it in 19 fewer games? You love to see that for I think one of the underrated signings of the year.
Yaska getting his first NHL fight.
Yeah, great fade. You know what? That's 3 fights in the last 4 games for the Kings. They haven't fought before then. They've done 3 in the last 4. And how about Brent Burns? Point number 900 of his career on the Robinson goal.
Mm-hmm.
You love to see that. So a lot of good takeaways from that. I mean, like I said, you just felt bad for that first line because you know they wanted a goal so bad. Like for the fact that 2 of those guys were sick to a different degree, but still outchanced and had 25 chances to score.
Mm-hmm.
What more can you do at that point?
The called off goal of that from Blake to Rantanen into Aho.
Oh,
gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
You could tell. Yeah, I know after the game, like during the scrum, Blaker was kind of like, yeah, just if I just put a little bit on it to get it to Rance.
Well, it was even. I mean, and I don't even want to say it's on Blake fully because that Kings
it's not his fault. It's not his
box
fault.
him out enough that he got his stick between Blake and his, so Blake couldn't get it, but Rantanen stepped in and was able to take the puck. So it was just a mix of things. But overall, the play was beautiful itself.
That would have been a great. I think that would have brought us within 1 or would have tied it. I can't remember I can't remember exactly what the score was at that point, but that was such a nice pass from Rantanen. Like that was so great to see Bass, but unfortunately
that would have been 2-0 for the Canes.
Oh, well, that would be even better than instead of going down 1-1 in the first intermission, we would have been.
Yeah, that would have been 2-0 for the Canes.
Go figure.
Yeah. So the Canes ended the last 2 games. It was a win and a loss, which is fine. I mean, with all the circumstances around it, it's fine. Here's hoping that the Canes, at the time we're recording this, are fully healed for the Winnipeg game, because that's another really tough team to play.
Hey guys, unpaid intern here. Just wanting to check in on the Winnipeg game. At the time of the recording, the Winnipeg game had not yet happened, so wanted to make sure that we touched on it just a little bit. If you haven't already, make sure you go check out our last episode with Mike and Shane. Such an incredible episode. Make sure y'all go check that out. But the Winnipeg game, long story short, Canes get screwed by the refs. What's new there? Jarvis, during the broadcast, during the first intermission, he said, I still don't know what goaltender interference is. This coming, of course, after the Mikko Rantanen goaltender interference call. What's new? The Canes don't get that call. Rod Brind'Amour post-game also mentioned it as well. He said, it changes the outlook of the game, but obviously we know how those go. Sometimes you win them, sometimes you don't. Which for the Canes, most of the time you don't win those calls. And unfortunately, instead of being up 1-0 at the end of the first, Canes go down 0-1 as former Cane Nino Niederreiter gets the power play goal, and things kind of just went downhill from there. In the second, Winnipeg gets another power play goal. And then in the third, Canes kind of getting screwed by the refs again. That was clearly a kick to anyone that saw that play, but Winnipeg challenged the play. They got awarded the goal. Canes ended up losing 3-0. So an unfortunate game for the Canes. It sucks that Jackson Blake's goal got disallowed because he had 2 really great plays, both the Kings game, finding Mikko, I believe, and then this game, not getting the goal. He kind of has been getting screwed over a little bit too by the refs, which I know a lot of people have opinions on how Jackson's doing, how he's not doing. I think he's doing well, especially all things considered. Mike has a really great quote in the last episode about just the progress he's seen from Jackson Blake as well. So don't rule out what the kid's been doing. And then also, too, let's not forget Winnipeg, best team in the league as well, up there with Washington. So for us to lose in the fashion that we lost, i.e. reps being on the Jets side, we should still be fairly proud of the effort, and you get a more fair sequence, maybe a finals matchup where things are aligned a little bit more in the Canes' favor. That'd be better too. Shout out to Scott Morrow making his first appearance of the year. I met him with Kat back when we were in Chicago for Christmas break. Great dude. No, he got some minutes, and that's the thing too. Canes played an 11-7 as well, so most of Mikko Rantanen's time with the Canes has been spent either surrounded by people with the flu or 11-7 lineups or whatever the case is. So I think once the illness gets past the team, they'll have that potential to really go places, get that continuity with each other. And then by the time you hit the playoffs, they should be up and running. So just want to give a quick recap on the Winnipeg game. About to jump into our sponsors now. Don't miss out on them. And the first sponsor being the NHL Shop. We are an affiliate of the NHL Shop. So make sure y'all go to our link trees, use our link, go in. Hey, 4 Nations jerseys and merch now available. Also, if you're interested, Stadium Series jerseys and merch also available. I've been seeing people online already get their 4 Nations merch. It just dropped last week. So Fanatics NHL Shop has been on top of it, making sure they get you your items before 4 Nations. So help us out. Go check out our link. Get some merch on the NHL Shop. Have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings? What are you waiting for? You better get on it. It's Super Bowl 59, the last time to play NFL Pick 6 this season. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, DraftKings does fantasy sports like no one else. Play for better payouts on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. Select 2 or more players. Choose if they'll have more or less of a stat like touchdowns, yardage, sacks, and more. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. And DraftKings is making it even sweeter for first-time users. New Pick 6 customers play $5 to get $59 in Pick 6 credits. Win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to play $5 and get $59 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Super Bowl 59 is right around the corner. You can get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Scoring touchdowns is key to hosting the Vince Lombardi Trophy, and you have a shot to score big by betting on them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new users to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
SeatGeek is back as one of our official sponsors, and we're so excited to have them because honestly, who doesn't like cheaper tickets? SeatGeek is a ticket app that takes the confusion out of buying tickets. They put a 0 to 10 score on each ticket to know if you're getting a good or a bad deal. Honestly, they do that score. They also do red is bad, green is good. And they show you, I'm pretty sure they show you the view from the seats as well. So it's a really nice way to really see, hey, am I really getting the most for my buck through this app? All our viewers get $20 off. Of course, you know, we got to hook you up with that Sebastian Aho deal, but $20 off their first ticket purchase with our code TheSurgeCast, all one word. We will have links in our descriptions. But yeah, you go to SeatGeek. Guys, it's the new year. That means there's concerts coming up. That means there's more games that maybe you want to get some cheaper tickets to, you know, treat some people. Maybe that was your Christmas gift. But seriously, download the app, go get your SeatGeek tickets, use our code TheSurgeCast and get that Sebastian Aho deal of $20 off. Go check it out and let us know what shows you're going to see.
Of course, got to talk about an OG sponsor, and that is Primo X Hockey. They've been with us since even before episode 1, and they've always got some great deals for you guys. You're looking for pucks, sticks, helmets, skates, everything you can desire, they have it. They also got flags, they got koozies. I mean, they're also local too, which is really great. They're right there on 1411 Diggs Drive, Suite E. I mean, you know, also season ticket members for the Carolina Hurricanes. You're also helping support fellow Caniacs as well. You know, great group of guys. They're open Monday through Saturday. Super easy to check out. Just go to primoxhockey.com to check out their hours, check out their amazing store. And if you use the code TheSurgeCast at checkout, you get 20% off your order, which is, you know, another Sebastian Aho discount. And the good thing too is free internet. They have free shipping, which is always awesome to have as well. And of course, if you're not able, you know, if you're able to go to the actual shop, well, let them know that the SurgeCast sent you. Maybe they might hook you up with something. Who knows? But always great to have them around. Great group to have as a sponsor, and we cannot thank Primo X Hockey enough for being with us since day one. Once again, PrimoXHockey.com. Use the code TheSurgeCast at checkout for your Sebastian Aho 20% off discount.
All right, we're back. Again, big thanks to our sponsors. Take advantage of all their deals, the Sebastian Aho discounts. We honestly wouldn't be where we are without them. And also, again, always want to bring to light, as we are new NHL Shop affiliates, use our link when you're going to get those deals. I mean, there is the Four Nations merch out there. I mean, I know some of the jerseys are a little expensive, but there's other fun things out there. And there will be stuff for the Stadium Series, which look awesome. So if you guys are, and I think there's 25% off if it's still going on. There was 25% off there as well. So anytime you guys see a deal, just keep your favorite podcast in mind, use our link, and that supports us and helps us to keep doing what we do and talking about the Canes and hockey for fun. So thank you guys.
I'll say those Columbus jerseys for the Stadium Series, gotta get one of those. Those are pretty.
If I could get one of the Red Wings buckets, I would. That's what I like. It looks so cool.
I think it was Annie OD that said it. It reminds her of, I think it's Hermes from
the Greek god.
From Hercules. That's I'm like, I can't.
I love it.
See that now.
I absolutely love
great.
it.
Oh, it's fantastic. I just can't unsee it now because it's a perfect spot, honestly. Like, hey, there you go. Worked out nicely. So
yeah. So again, support your favorite podcast. We really appreciate it. And a lot of thanks to our unpaid intern for making that possible. And with all our sponsors, whether it's with THPN or previous sponsors, we really appreciate all of them. But let's get on to the next games. We've got Carolina's going to be at Minnesota. The last game between these two, not my favorite.
That was pretty brutal, and also too. I mean, no Kirill Kaprizov, so that's one less guy they got to worry about. But I don't know, the way Boldy and Marco Rossi and all of them and Zuccarello put it to us last game. Definitely, we're looking for revenge on this one, especially in Minnesota. But I'm curious. I'm curious if we're going to get Fleury in this one.
I think Gustafsson is expected, but I don't know. I would love. I kind of want to see Fleury because I just like everyone's been a part of his goodbye thing, and we haven't really.
Because we had Gustafsson in Carolina, so
so it'll be interesting. They are with Minnesota being down. Kaprizov, you got their star player is down. But they've got a lot of firepower. They are currently third in the Central.
Yeah, I mean that's like I said, still a D team. You got Boldy, you got Rossi, Zuccarello, Brock Faber, Middleton's really good too. I mean their goaltending is pretty solid. It's rock solid. Also their captain Spurgeon's back too. So this is gonna be a team that while it says third in the Central, the Minnesota Wild are no joke. Nope. Oh, you also got to watch out for Marcus Flano, not Nick, but Marcus, the brother. So another guy you have to watch out for too. So there's some heavyweights. I believe
one of the Wild just got suspended.
Ryan Hartman is going to have a hearing because he drove Tim Stützle's face into the ice on a face-off. Yeah. So he's going to get offered a hearing. So by the time, it's probably gonna be a lengthy suspension for Ryan Hartman.
Yeah, I would see it being that. So it'll be an interesting matchup. The Canes can only play better than how they played last time. But so the Canes will be still on the road for Minnesota, and then going into their next game against Utah, they'll be back for a 1:00 game. On Saturday, so it'll be fun tailgating day, especially if the weather stays warm like it has been. Utah's currently 5th in the Central, and their last game, I think they lost to last game they lost 4-1. So you don't really know what you're gonna get. It's kind of like playing Arizona. It's one of those teams like if the Canes play down to them, don't know.
Yeah, just like playing Arizona with a new name and a New Jersey. But yeah, you just gotta play better. Yeah, that 4-1 game was in Utah was pretty tough. That I think that's kind of what started that little weird trend of going like win one, lose one type of deal. So
yeah, I wonder if Veggie will still have his big performance like he did last time.
I mean, hey, according to the NHL, that he is the Utah Hockey Club's first team goaltender in their first year of existence. Because, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you only got to play better. And I mean, it's the last game, too, before the break. So hopefully it's like when we played Nashville right before the Christmas break or the holiday break, and they just kind of phoned it in. Not phoned it in, but did not play as we thought they should have against the worst team in the league at that time. Mm-hmm. I know the Four Nations breaks right after that, and it's a 1 o'clock start, but hopefully it's a more of like, okay, let's just go into the break with a win and chill and relax. Yeah. Talk about tailgating, Cat. I hope everyone brings their brunch because, I mean, you're tailgating at like 9, 10, 1, 11 o'clock that morning. So hope you bring your mimosas and pancakes and waffles.
I mean, you don't have to. You can go out at like 11 and have a lunch.
hey, what's wrong with the brunch, man? Who would say no brunch and hockey? Come on, what are we doing here?
Sure.
Hey, don't look at me.
I look at you. You said it. But yeah, so it'll be interesting. What is your prediction for these two games?
Well, if the team is fully healthy and no one's sick, honestly, optimistic 4.
I agree with you. If they're fully healthy,
at worst 3 with dropping a point to Minnesota, just because Minnesota's good.
Yeah,
I'm going to say the worst. I'm saying 4.
4. If they're healthy, I could see 4.
Yeah, I'm still, like I said, I'm sticking with 4. But if there is like, what's a worst case, or like, what are we okay with?
Yeah,
I'm okay with 3. Anything less than 3, you kind of want more than that. So
I just don't see them. I don't see them playing that down with Hall and Rantanen at the moment. I don't see us dropping down to that play again. And I feel like the team is really wanting to get into that groove with the new players. And I think the only thing that has prevented them from going on a good run is learning the players learning the system. And then you're having players go down with sickness. I think I think the sickness hit at a really bad time, good and bad. So they're starting to pick up steam, starting to click and stuff. And then they get sick and it's not as great, but also rather now going into the break so that they can all get healthy and come back super strong.
We're just not down with this sickness, essentially, is what we're going for.
Yeah. So agreed. So I would think if we're healthy, I'm going to say 4 as well. We will be in agreement for this one. Cool. But yeah. And then we'll, those are the last couple games, and then we'll go into the 2-week break for the Four Nations. And then there's also Canes Bash during that time, which I believe Shane and Mike mentioned.
We will, yes. Yeah, well, yeah, they did mention it. But we will have episodes though. So don't think, because even though they're taking a break, we're not taking a break. So
yep, we've got plenty to talk about still. So join us for our next episode. While the Canes are taking a break, we will not be, and we'll be there to bless your ears with all of our fun thoughts on hockey, Canes, all of the above. But yeah, that kind of wraps up this episode. It's a little short and sweet one because honestly, again, how can we follow a crossover with the Canes cast? Zach, where can they find you? Where can they find the network?
Yeah, so let's do the network first, because why not? Because they're just amazing. HockeyPodcastNetwork.com. Pretty simple. They have a podcast for everyone. They got Hurricanes. They got, maybe if you have a second team or a third team, they got them for them too. Terry Ryan from Shorty's got his own podcast. If you want to hear that, give that a look as well. Big shout out to Dylan and Kyle for having us on for 2 seasons now. Really enjoy being with them. And of course, they do live streams all the time on YouTube for certain games. And we might just be there. Probably more so Kat than me, but still, hey, we might be on one for the Hurricanes. So yeah, make sure to check them out. Hockey Podcast, the Hockey Podcast Network.com, and always make sure to use your code THPN if you're going to be on DraftKings Sportsbook. For me, I'm at One True Zach on X. I'm also on Blue Sky at the Zachary Martin. I have link trees on both of my bios, where you can find all my articles, and of course, you can check out my other podcast, Locked On Hurricanes. Kat, where can people find you and the podcast?
Yeah, if you're looking for the podcast, if you're listening to us, but you're like, hey, want to follow them all things social, look at X, Twitter, whatever you call it, Blue Sky, Instagram, and YouTube at the Surgecast.
Mm-hmm.
You can also find all of this in the link tree that we have on our account. But yeah, give a like, follow, subscribe, and also please go follow if you still have TikTok. At the .surgecast on TikTok, where our wonderful unpaid intern will be doing breaking news, game recaps, all of those fun things to stay connected with our fun listeners. As you know, we only record once a week, so we want to stay connected with you guys throughout the week as games happen. So yeah, go give us a follow, like, subscribe, all of the fun things. Give us your questions, thoughts, comments. We love to see it.
5-star ratings. Don't forget the 5-star ratings and all that good stuff too.
Those are all great. Reshares, retweets, reposts, all of it.
Just all of it.
All of it. If you're looking for me, I am on Twitter at Caniac Chick or on TikTok at KVT Hunter 74. But again, thank you so much for giving us a listen this week. Thank you. If you haven't, please go listen to our previous episode with Mike and Shane. It really is one to listen to. Never a dull moment with those two. We love getting to catch up with them. But again, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Surgecast.
Bye.
It's never a dull moment when we have Shane and Mike join us. So we're really happy that the Canes cast, both of them, were able to join us for this episode. Again, go follow, listen to all of their stuff because, again, they're the big Canes insiders. That's why we always want to bring them on and pick their brains for all their stories. But yes, go give them a follow. Listen, go check out Mike on Twitter. They ask questions. They want the Canes fans all the Caniacs to send in questions. You can also hit them up there. But yeah, a big thank you to them. And I don't know about you, Zach, but I don't have anything else to add to that episode after everything they just dropped with us.
No, just make sure to bring your saddles if you're going to Western Canada and Saskatchewan, because apparently the mosquitoes are huge. So if you want to protect yourself, bring your saddles, man. All I can tell you.
See you later, Caniacs.
See ya.